Hello, beautiful. I'm your host, Nicole Goff. Welcome to the Ecstatic Life Podcast, the podcast for women who want it all: health, wealth, freedom, authenticity, love, beauty, all of the hidden gems just waiting to be uncovered. This is the podcast for women who are ready to discover their inner creatrix, to discover their inner manifester, and who want to find the ecstatic in every day. Kerryn!
Hi!
It's so good to see your face again.
Oh, it feels like a lifetime. Hey, like, what the frick is this year? I can't. I
Yes.
can't.
Yes, especially here at the end of the year, the energy. Wow. Oh my gosh.
It's crazy. That full moon has just been wild, hasn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That energy is calling me out.
Yeah, I feel it.
So, our episode was the top in my Spotify wrapped up for the year. It said it was 228% more watched than my average episode.
That's crazy. Was this the first episode that me and you did together?
Yeah, the psychic parenting
Oh my
episode.
God.
So I am re-releasing it. I'm on break right now, and I have 6 weeks off where I'm doing like the top downloaded, the top rated, and then some podcasts where like I was appearing on other people's podcasts.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting ready for season 2.
Which, spoiler alert, we are going to do a season 2 episode, which is going to be for the animals. So
yes, I'm so excited.
me too. This is definitely a subject, like I said when we were talking about it, that's really like been on my heart. So it's also a very controversial subject, and I'm trying to
100%, which is crazy. It's just like literally loving animals. Like,
Yep.
I love that it's more extreme to be like love animals and not eat them than
it's really
that's
extreme,
crazy.
like on both sides too, because
Right?
there are a
The
lot of
debate
people.
is wild.
Yeah,
The
they like
debate.
healed their autoimmune disease, like eating nothing but meat, and like so. Yeah, it's gonna. I don't want to give too much away, but it's gonna be a deep conversation for sure.
Yeah, I'm so keen to go deep on it, but I think a lot of the time people forget about the animals in it, right? Like people just focus on the health side and all of that, and you forget about the animals that are right there in front of you. So gorgeous. So yeah.
Well, and so you said like before we hopped on here that there have been a lot of big changes for you in this last like year, like since we have been on together. So part of that now you are actually like working with the animals, like with your psychic abilities with animals. I guess the shift, because we had our episode, which you guys will be listening to, is psychic parenting. So next year we're going to be focusing on psychic connection with animals. So do you want to just like drop a little bit about what you've been up to lately?
Oh, so yeah, I think I don't know, I've probably mentioned a little bit how we've been so connected to like how I've always been connected to animals, and that was kind of been my whole journey. And when I first started feeling into my psychic abilities, that was kind of through the animals. But I guess for me, I had to kind of jump into the full psych. That kind of felt like something that I would focus on later. And through my whole journey with Mother Priestess and with Carolina, it kind of started getting to this point where I'm like, I want to focus more on the animals and the trees and nature. But it felt like something I needed to wait until we'd established Mother Priestess. And then I kind of realized, oh no, I think I have to do the animals now. They're coming at me every day, all day, every day. It's the animals. It's always been the animals. And it's always has been the animals for me. My whole life has been about the animals. So it's time to focus on the animals. Yeah. It's time to bring it back.
How cool. I've loved
yeah.
the new Instagram posts. I've been following along with the messages that the animals are bringing you. So yeah, exciting.
They're coming through. And I do find it quite confronting because
Oh, really?
yes, I find it quite confronting because I am so sensitive to the animals. And so when it comes to hearing from like the cows or the salmon that are being farmed down in Tasmania where I am, it's quite confronting to hear the messages from animals that you know you can't actually help them and they are suffering and you can't do anything about it, that's quite confronting. And because I am so sensitive to that stuff, so often it's too hard. It's in the too hard basket. And I think that's always been my way with, it took me a long time to stop eating animals and consuming animals because it felt too hard and so big. And so this just feels like the next level of the whole journey is going into that hardness of hearing the voices of the animals that are suffering and that don't have a way out and cannot be helped, but to still give them a voice and a platform to be heard, and to kind of bring the focus back to animals and how we are animals ourselves. We're no different. We're just a different type of animal. And we are all connected, and we're far more connected than we even consider. And to bring it back to that just feels like what I'm here for. And yes, psychic parenting is something that I'm also really passionate about because I think it's really important that our kids are really connected to the animals too. Um, and just living a life that is more kind and more, just more connected to everything around us. And my kids love it. They come and sit with the trees. They come and help the animals. They're always catching flies in my house, and they don't kill the flies. They grab the flies on their hands and then take them out and let them go. And that's just that's such a beautiful way to live, in being so connected to the smallest little ants and the little bugs and the spiders, versus just being like, we're human, we have everything, and I'm going to kill that because it's in my way. And it's just a really,
Yeah.
yeah, like it's just being really more aware of our surroundings, and every day going outside and seeing what birds fly past, what bugs come near me, and connecting that to my experience and to how I experience the world. It's a really cool way to live. Yeah, it's just kind of deepening that my psychic gifts in a way that is more connected to the animals, because that is naturally how I've always received my psychic gifts, but I just didn't realize that that was what I was actually meant to be bringing out into the world.
Yeah, well, that's really beautiful, first off. But second off, it's like mirroring this feeling that I've been having of like being called out this year. So going back,
Yeah.
2025 wrap up, it's like a year of being really like called out and called to rise. And
Yeah.
another reason that I'm really excited to do this episode in 2026 with you too is because I've made it kind of a bold mission to talk about more controversial things. I've always been one to really shy away from controversy and to try to keep the peace. And I want everybody to be happy and everybody to feel good. And I've realized this year that it doesn't really serve you or anybody to, really to hold back in that way, and to be strong in my opinions is what I need to do. So I'm here
Yeah.
for it. And if people don't like it, they can leave negative comments, and
It
that's okay.
doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. Being your authentic self, you're going to get the good people coming to you that are actually, aligned with you. And I find it a lot easier for my actions to align with how I'm feeling, but to then align my words with my actions, I find that a lot more scary. To speak out about what I'm really feeling and what I stand for feels really scary because it's really easy. Oh my God. His head's just in the background. It feels really easy to it feels really easy to, not eat animals, but to actually, Izzy, can you just, I'm just trying to speak to Nicole, okay?
What's up, Izzy?
Yeah, it feels really easy for me not to eat animals, but to then speak about the fact that I don't eat animals is a lot harder because I am so respectful of where other people are with everything. But yeah, I think it's also really important to speak up for our own values, and to be our most authentic selves, and to not shut ourselves down for fear of being judged, because
Yeah.
then we're not pulling in the most authentic connections that we feel like we can't show up as who we really are and speak our truth. And that's been a really big theme for me this year, is learning to speak my truth and to align my words, like, so, to not be so crooked, because when I'm being crooked, I'm pushing into other people, and I'm not being my authentic self, and I'm kind of stopping myself from having the most aligned connections that I really crave. So it's been a big year this year, and I feel like I've moved through so much. But yeah, I'm really excited for 2026 and what comes next. With the more I align with what I'm actually meant to be doing, the more aligned my life becomes. So
Beautiful. Well,
Yeah.
that's a perfect way to wrap up this new intro. And yeah, this is also what this episode is a bold conversation too. This episode about psychic parenting is also very
Yeah.
bold, and
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. I have appreciated our connection and getting to know you this last year and working with you. And yeah, I'm looking forward to 2026 and what
Life is
blossoms.
so cool. Yeah, life is so cool, isn't it? The more I show up, the more aligned these connections become. If I hadn't have stepped into my psychic parenting stuff, I wouldn't have connected to you. And now through leaning more into the animals, that's going to bring me other aligned connections as well. So yeah, it's really cool. Love the journey.
Beautiful. Well, everybody, enjoy round two of psychic parenting. And Kerryn, I will be talking to you very soon.
Take
Right.
three.
Yes. Love you, Mama. Welcome back to the Ecstatic Life podcast. I'm host Nicole Goff, and today I'm here with Kerryn Karimalis, and she is chatting with me all the way from Australia. Welcome, Kerryn. We had quite a time
Yeah.
figuring out
Hi.
our time zones. So it's first thing in the morning here and late at night there, but we made it work.
We got it. Somehow, in between all of the juggling of parenthood and everything else, we're here.
Yeah, yeah. Mom's making it happen. I love it. So, me and Kerryn are here to talk today about how tuning into your psychic abilities as a parent can make your life more ecstatic. And I am super excited for this conversation because when you sent in your intake and I read it, it was just so beautiful and poetic and moving. And I was like, I wanted to learn more so much. So I'm really glad we connected. And I'm really excited to have this conversation because this isn't something that I know a whole lot about. I mean, I try to be intuitive, but I'm definitely not connected with my innate psychic abilities. So I know this conversation is going to enlighten me and I'm going to learn things. So do you want to start off by giving maybe a little background about who you are, your backstory, what you do?
Yeah. So, hi, everybody. I'm Kerryn. I'm down in the bottom of Australia in Tasmania, the little island on the bottom there. I have lived here my whole life, except for 7 years in Melbourne. And it's a big story, but I think my first dive into anything spiritual connecting to myself was through yoga when I was about 24 and I was suffering from severe anxiety, depression, eating disorder, all of this stuff. And yoga really gifted me the ability to feel into my body and to breathe properly. And that was really life changing for me because I had never done that as a young, crazy 20-year-old. And from that, as soon as I went to yoga, I knew I wanted to be a yoga teacher. So dived straight into that. And then just as I got my yoga teacher training, I fell pregnant. So the only times that I was actually teaching yoga, I was pregnant, which was quite a roller coaster.
I
And
bet.
then coming into motherhood, yeah, like coming into motherhood was just, it's a shock to the system. When you're a yogi who's used to going to 90-minute sessions in, a studio and to then motherhood and you don't get 5 minutes to yourself. I found that was such a really big shock to the system. And when my second came along, I couldn't find a minute for myself. And it got to a point where I was feeling as bad as I was feeling before I found yoga. And I stumbled into breath work. And that felt like it added a whole other level of moving through stored stress in my body. And through that, last year I fell into through this particular breath work I was doing, I fell into um, the Kundalini practices as well. And I actually had my son in kindergarten last year, and it felt really, really wrong. Um, every day I felt like it was. I just was like, why can't I be okay with this?
Mm,
And we ended up pulling him out because everything was screaming at me that this is not the right thing for me and this is not the right thing for my son. And as I pulled him out, I was doing this Kundalini 0 point practice, 40-day practice. which was all about abundance and, with money and stuff. And this happened to bring up all this homeschool stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is really random. So I stepped into that, and I stepped into pulling him out of school. And then through this, I ended up doing this homeschooling online course, and I met a psychic through that. We all connected on Instagram, like as you do. And she was doing this astral hangout. And I was like, what the hell is an astral hangout? No idea what this was. What's astral? Like, that's just what you do when you're tripping on mushrooms. I don't know. And I ended up, it was the first time that I just did something for the sake of doing something for myself that was completely just fun, wasn't going to move any trauma, wasn't doing anything physically. And it was life-changing. I met my spirit guides, and it opened me up to this whole other dimension. I felt like the yoga teaching and yoga breath work was kind of like, the yoga was like the gateway healer, I like to say, not the gateway drug, gateway healer. And then I got into breath work and meditation. And then I dived straight into astral travel, which led to tuning into my clairs. And through that, learning how to channel, doing past life regressions, and a wild ride. And here I am now.
Wow, yeah.
Here I am
Okay, so
now.
what's coming up for me is like, did you know as a child? Because I know a lot of people that get into, clairvoyancy and things, they had some sort of a inkling as a kid, or they would say things like, I always knew things. So was this something that you had kind of tapped into in your early life and kind of forgot and then re-remembered later, or was this just like surprising, like, oh my gosh, I have these abilities that I had no idea were there?
Well, as a kid, I'm an only child, and I grew up with so many animals around me, and they were my siblings. I was so connected to them, and really sensitive to them. I didn't hear anything, didn't, I just really loved them. They held me through a lot of stuff. And when I first started getting into astral travel, it really started to give me back this great love that I used to have for animals and nature and being out in it and really experiencing it. Oh, sorry, experiencing it. Yeah, it's crazy. As I started to dive into this, I actually was getting a call. It sounds really crazy. And I felt like I was almost coming out when I first started having this. But I started feeling like I was being called by this certain tree in my backyard. It was it was kind of like dead in comparison to the rest of them. It was all, the leaves are all dying, and it was surrounded by green trees, and this one looked like it was dying. And I'm like, I feel really bad for this tree. What's going on? And I happened to have followed this girl on Instagram who, she was an animal communicator. And I was like, that sounds really cool. I didn't know you could do that, but that seems really cool. And that feels like it's opening up for me. But she also communicated with trees. And I was like, this is crazy. And then this tree started calling to me. And I ended up going out there and holding up my hands in front of this tree with my eyes closed. And I could just feel the energy. And in my head, I was just like, hi, are you there? And I heard this voice of, yeah, I'm here. And I ended up sitting down with her, and we had this amazing conversation. She told me about how, because we had bushfires where I live about 10 years ago that took out a few of the houses around me, didn't take out our house. And she told me about that and how it had taken some of her friends. And then it came to this point where every day I would go and sit with this tree and ground with her and ask her for my wisdom. And it felt like a coming home to who I used to be as a child, not just like accepting and supporting my inner child, but playing with her, being there and not just standing beside her and being that, yeah, you're okay. Just getting down with the animals and the bugs and the trees and being on her same level again. And now that's what my everyday feels like. It's yeah, it blows my mind sometimes.
Yeah, it sounds
But
like
from there, it's just really opened up.
It sounds like bringing back the
You
like
go.
the wonder and the curiosity, because that's what we lose as adults so much. And that's something
Yeah.
I've been trying to cultivate
Yeah.
too. It's like that curiosity for the world, curiosity for other people too,
Yeah.
for the experiences of
Yes.
people. We become so, I'm in my 40s now, and it's like I'm noticing this big split with a lot of people. Like once you start getting into middle age, people are like so just ground down into their ego, into their personality, and it's
Mm.
like, this idea of who they are, and to try to strip all that away. And that's what, going back to like yoga and breath work, Kundalini, that's what a lot of that does. I got into breath work,
Yeah.
I guess about a year and a half ago, and that was really life changing to me because I had had some severe past trauma, and it was very hard for me to be still in my body. And so breath work has been a way that to get into deep meditation that kind of bypasses that whole like hamster wheel, mind thing where you got all that mind chatter going on. So I found that to be a really powerful tool. But the more you dive into these practices and the more you open up to things like, yeah, psychic abilities, talking to animals, talking to plants, like the more you open up to these things. And I don't think it sounds silly at all. I know it's like a lot of the things I talk about, it's like when they come out, I'm like, oh, that sounds a little crazy. But I'm pretty sure that my audience is like us. We embrace the out of the box things. So yeah, that's really beautiful to reconnect in that way, to have that childlike curiosity, to be able to open back up. Because really, like when we were children, we were so intelligent in our abilities,
Mm.
like so much more connected to source. Our souls are just so much more
Yeah.
open and receptive. And it's unfortunate, but in Western culture, there's been an attitude of looking down on children, and children are supposed to be, seen and not heard as a common thing, and like
Hmm.
very subservient and not revered. And so to flip that
Yeah.
script and to revere children and to revere childlike qualities in people, that's very like out of the box thinking for sure. And I feel like I am embracing that more and more. For me personally, ecstatic dance has been something that's really moved me. Have you heard of ecstatic dance?
Yeah. Love it. I've
Yeah.
done intuitive dance,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
not
very similar.
ecstatic dance. I really want to go to an ecstatic dance party. Yeah.
Oh, it's so much fun. So
I got intuitive dance last year. Yeah.
it's like my church. That's what
Sorry,
I
you
do.
explain.
That's what I
Oh,
do for church.
I love that.
But yeah, that's something. So, and I've played around with embodying different animal characteristics. Like there's like a kind of a big cat energy that like comes out of me, and like, so it's like taking that on, like really taking that form on, getting down on the ground and like crawling around and like, roaring,
Yes.
whatever.
Yes.
I mean, again, that sounds like kind of silly and
Oh,
crazy.
this is on camera. This is
Yeah, you're not allowed to have cameras in the ecstatic dance, and that is why. Oh, okay. So you found unschooling then, or homeschooling. So you took your eldest out of school, which kudos to that. That's, I think, a wise decision. I don't know how the schools are there, but
Yeah.
here in the US, they are atrocious. Horrible, horrible state.
Yeah, I mean, Australia, we don't have to, there's a lot that we don't have to worry about in Australia with with guns and stuff like that. We don't have to worry about their physical safety, but I could just see with my son, he wasn't thriving. He was doing great academically, but like I don't care about that. He was just shrinking himself and being smaller than I know. And he's a very sensitive boy. He was one that's to kind of stand back and observe. And so, and it was a big, like there was probably about 17 boys in this class. So it was a lot of boy energy going on there. And it's a really cute school. It's a country school. I'm in the country here. The principal's this little like surfer dude in his 30s, super chill. It's like, I'm like, I should like this. Why don't I like this? But I've always felt called to homeschooling and unschooling in particular, ever since he was born. And I've just never felt the power within myself. I'm like, well, I don't know enough. Who am I to do this? And it took me to do this 0 point practice to really step into my power. And then through getting into this, all of this psychic stuff, it's been all about learning to trust myself again and to trust what I'm receiving and to trust that the right thing, the messages are coming through. You just need to listen to them. You need to be open to them and feel that in your body and feel what's right for you. And for us, that's what felt right for us. So, and it really triggered so much growth in the last year for me, stepping into my power and stepping into who I who I really am and stripping back the life that I'm meant to be living and embodying the life that I actually want to live. And so, yeah, I'm well on the way with that, which is, yeah, it's been amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing. And so, do you think that was like your first step into psychic parenting? Or, I guess would that be like intuitive parenting? Like you felt that energy from your son about the situation and that call towards the unschooling. And so was that kind of the first like inkling of psychic parenting?
I mean, I think I've always been really intuitive with my parenting. As soon as he was with my firstborn, I had an emergency C-section and um, we ended up like co-sleeping and, I've extended breastfed both of my babies. So I've always done, and they've never been in daycare or anything like that. So I've always done things exactly right for us and not what other people tell us is right. And then sending him to school was the first time that I was like, oh, wow, this is really me stepping out of my intuition and doing the thing that I should be doing versus what feels right for me and my family. And it felt unbearable. I couldn't do it. I don't know how people are pushing through doing this every single day. Um, so I think psychic parenting feels like the step into the next step into intuition, because being psychic is, well, sorry, actually, your intuition comes like that is tuning into your psychic gifts, your clairs. And, it's like I think I explained it to you before, it's like a radio station. Your intuition needs to be tuned into the right station. And if you aren't open to your clairs and really grounding in them, and protecting your field, your intuition coming off. And that's when we make decisions that we're like, oh, well, that's my intuition isn't telling me the right thing. But it's actually just that we haven't tuned and fine-tuned our intuition to a point where we're really truly connected to the right station, to the right source. So yeah, it was a massive lesson in holy moly, I really do need to. It's so loud, I can't not listen to this anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and from that, like, yeah, we've ended up, we've put our house on the market. It's, about to sell. We've decided to buy a bus. We're going to build a tiny home on my in-laws' block of land and just be free, like out of the rat race, not, more abundant with our time and with our money. And yeah, everything is just feeling so much more aligned since I have started tuning into my more psychic side of myself. I think the biggest thing that I've learned is that everybody is psychic. It's not just a select chosen few that get to be psychic. Everybody has it. It's just whether we are open to tuning into it and open to, reconnecting back to it, because we all have it when we're kids. But then you're told to get out of your head and stop imagining things, and
Yeah.
adults know
Yeah.
best.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, but we really don't.
Yeah, and that goes
We
back to
really don't know
what I was
best.
just saying before too, like not having that reverence
Yeah.
for children and for childhood. You know,
Yes.
my my second born, when she was a toddler, she would talk about what I'm positive was a past life. And she had a name for herself and like everything. And, to like just like let her like
Amazing.
listen and let her. And it was just so amazing. She doesn't remember any of it now. But when we are young, we're
Mm.
still so tapped in. And, instead
Yeah.
of dismissing, like to really like go there and have curiosity with your children, like, I feel like
Mm.
can learn so much more, and it's a shame not more people.
100%. And asking them the question, yeah, and asking them the questions like,
Hmm.
oh, you can see something, or oh, you have it, like, what can you ask it something, or like just being open and validating them and acknowledging the kids so they feel they can trust themselves. So they'll never lose that trust and they'll never lose that wisdom. They may forget a little bit of where they were prior, but that is something that we can tune back into when we're adults and we learn the practices. Yeah, I feel like it's really important to empower people in this, and that you don't need to go to somebody outside of yourself. It's all within. Like, you have all of the answers. You can tune into it. You don't need to go to a clairvoyant. You don't need to go to a medium. I mean, it's amazing to go to people and have your cards read or your palms read or whatever it is. But also knowing that you can do it yourself. There's nothing stopping you from tuning into that yourself is so empowering to know that, like, you don't need anybody but you.
So, can you walk me through like some steps? So, if somebody's listening and they're like, "Yes, I really want to." So, okay, I'm speaking for myself. So I would really like to tap more into my psychic abilities. I've been, trying to work on, refining my intuition, trying to get still and to listen. But what would you say would be the steps to start opening up to these abilities? And also, you mentioned the clairs a couple of times. So for people that don't know, could you tell us what
Mm,
the six different clairs are and yeah, what we're talking
yeah.
about? If somebody's like, Claire's what?
Yeah. So yeah, yeah. No, who's Claire?
Yeah.
So yeah. So it's really important to know that everybody has all of the clairs. You don't just have one or two. You have all of them, but you'll be more dominant in certain types of clairs. So we have clairvoyance, which is the seer, and that is your eyes. So clairvoyance is obviously the one that you hear about the most, but it's actually one of the most, that's the rarest run. So
Mm.
that's when you have visions. That's where you have the images, you see symbols. You're a really visual thinker. You're able to, see the future. And it can be expressed through vivid dreams, inner movies, and visual flashes that will come through. Then we have clairaudience, which is listening. So that's your ears. So that's where you hear things. That's where you get messages via sound. You might get messages via songs or an inner voice in your head. You might hear thoughts. You can hear lyrics. You can get guidance from somebody else's voice. Then there's clairsentience, which is the feeler. So this is when you feel other people's emotions. You feel physical sensations in your body. Um, you might feel energetic impressions, basically. What else? There's cognizance, which is the knower. So that one's just like the instant knowing. When you know something, you can't explain it, but you get that instant knowing coming through. It's like the sudden truth just hits you, um, and you know something without proof. And it can be dismissed a lot because it bypasses logic completely. Then we have Claire Alliance, which is the smeller. That's your nose. So that's when you smell things. So you might have a scent come to you, and it reminds you of something, takes you back to something. It's you might have a smell that comes through for spirit communication, or it might be linked to your ancestors. Um, yeah, or a lot of the time the smellers are really good at like medical stuff. They can smell out, the herbs that
Ah,
you need.
yeah.
Yeah, which is really cool. Um, a lot of the time they're like architects as well, or medical intuitives. They can be detectives too. So, and then we also have clairgustance, which is the taster or taste. So that's tasting. That's like you can have messages with taste. You can have, ancestral memories come through. You might be a really amazing intuitive cook. You might be able to come up with recipes, without needing a cookbook, or you might receive ancestral recipes straight through. So, yeah, and it's really cool because each clair, sorry, you can kind of like, there's like an avatar for each one. So, you've got your clairvoyants, which they're often creatives or artists. They can be designers. They could be stylists. You've got your clairaudience, which might be lyricists or poets. They're really into healing, sorry, and they're really good at channeling, and they're the mediums. And they also can be really good therapists and counselors. You've got the clairsentients, which they're like the body workers, the jewelers, the nurses, the energy healers, and the animal communicators. So clairsentience is my main one. We've got the claircognizance is they're really they're really good at like being innovators or founders of businesses. They're really amazing philosophers. They're really spiritually connected or spiritual leaders. They're clairalients, the smellers. They can be aromatherapists, I think I mentioned, and herbalists. And then the clairgustants, they're often chefs, obviously, if you can taste. They can be sensory therapists, and they're really good at channeling recipes. And yeah, so it's kind of gives you a little bit of an an overview of all of those ones.
Yeah,
But yeah, as I say, you
that's
can be
cool.
more than one.
Yeah, and it's funny
Yeah, what
because
do you
it's
think you
like
are?
you you hear more about the clairvoyance and the clairaudience. That's the either you
Yeah,
hear the message
the
or
obvious ones.
you see, yeah, obvious. But when I'm listening to that, I can see where I have had those, intuitive hits in all of them. And
Mm,
what really struck
yes.
me immediately, do you know any human design? That's something I've been really into for the last year or so.
Oh, yes.
So,
Yes,
like,
yes. What are you?
yeah, so it's kind of like the overlap there, because like I get like the downloads.
Yes.
I get the downloads that totally bypass any sort of logic where it's like, well, I just know that. And again, like you said, very easy to dismiss, but I'm also a manifester. And so that seems to like fit
Ah,
hand in hand. I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense because those two
yeah, that
things
works
really like
well. Yes.
mesh, you know? So it's like
Yes.
in the same
Yes.
way that like learning that I was a manifester and learning the traits associated with that really gave me permission to like step into that. Hearing this, it's like, oh, okay. So
Yes.
those intuitive hits that I get where I'm like, well, I just know. Well, that is my Claire right there. That's my, psychic
Yes.
ability talking too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you dive deeper into human design, it is very much connected with the clairs and the psychic abilities. For sure. I'm a projector.
Ah.
And also, yeah, so it's quite interesting with clairsentience because if you feel everything, a lot of these people they're really overly sensitive
Mm.
and can often suffer from anxiety because you feel everything. And the same with, clairaudience. They might be people that if they're overly sensitive to sound, um, so depending on which one, that's kind of how you can easily tell which one you are a lot of the time is via what do you feel really overwhelms you or do you feel super sensitive by is a really good indicator of what your dominant clair is. But yeah, as I say,
Yeah.
they can work hand in hand with each other.
That makes sense. That makes sense for me
Um,
too, because definitely like I'd say the thing that I am most sensitive to would be intrusive thoughts, So that's been
there you go.
yeah, and I've suffered with a lot of anxiety over a lot of years. Luckily not, anytime
Hmm.
recently, but as a teenager and in my 20s, and just the hamster wheel of intrusive thoughts, and that has been probably the thing that's caused me the most, like, pain and suffering in my life. And so yeah,
Yes.
that all makes sense.
I mean, they're not teaching this at school, are they? They're not
No,
teaching this stuff at school, and they're not teaching people.
no.
Can you imagine how cool it would be to have schools like this, where you're learning all of this
Well,
and you're practicing your clairs as a kid? Like, imagine.
our homeschool group does. So if you're in the States,
Stop it.
yes, I would
Oh my God, I'm
totally invite
coming.
you to
I'll be
come
there
teach.
tomorrow.
Come to Florida beaches. Yeah, no, we have
I
had
love
for the
this.
past 2 years, we've done crystal singing bowls, sound healing.
Oh,
We've done oh, why am I blanking out? The
oh, pendulum?
pendulum. The word was
You
just
say pendulum?
gone. Yeah,
Pendulum.
I'm like, what? Well, pendulums, dowsing rods. Yeah. We've had the kids exploring with stuff. So yeah, that's been part of our homeschool
Oh,
curriculum in my homeschool co-op.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. Do you have, thinking of these clairs, can you see what your kids are dominant in?
Whew. I have 5. I'd have to sit on that for a minute.
That's a lot. Well, maybe you have one in each. That'd be really
Yeah.
handy.
Well,
Then you can
my
have just
my
join them as one
eldest.
power human.
Yeah, right. My eldest, definitely, I would say, in the clairvoyant, like, she's an artist and she's super
Oh,
super visual.
brilliant.
And yeah, I would probably say definitely that for her. Yeah, and then my third, she's probably like you. She's very, very sensitive to animals, and she's yeah, I would say I want to get all their human design done. So I had someone on talking about
Yes.
design, the person who did my human design, Amber Melindi. That was just a couple episodes ago, if anybody wants to go listen to it. But she was saying that you can do like a full family workup and to see how the whole family
Yeah.
fits in that. And so I really want to do that. But I would imagine that my middle one, Ryan, that she's probably a projector too, I would say. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, she's
love
my sensitive
her.
one. Yeah.
Yes. See, I have a money gen and a generator for kids, and I'm a projector. It's exhausting.
Oh, all
I
right.
need my rest.
Yeah. Okay, so let's
Uh,
see. To rein it back in here. Oh, how to raise psychic children. This is a very good like transition into that. So what are your tips for raising psychic children? I know we've talked about this, we've touched on it with the homeschooling and stuff, but do you have any, like, for a mom that was listening, like a hands-on thing they could do?
yeah. I mean, I think it's tuning into what clairs your kids have is really cool because it's a really nice way to understand exactly how they receive messages and how so you can help them to tune into that a little bit more. Um, the best way to keep your kids connected to their psychic abilities is to stay connected and open to your own psychic abilities.
Mm,
That is probably my number one. The more work you do on yourself and your own psychic abilities, the more it gives your kids permission to stay connected and open to their own,
yeah, because
for
kids are already
sure. Because
there. Yeah. Yeah,
they're already there. They don't
yeah.
need help. They
Yeah.
do need help. They just need support and understanding. And if for some reason your kid does need to go to school, um, I have a girlfriend who her little girl is in school and she is a magical human being and she's always seeing things around and talking to things. And she's had to go to the teacher and be like, hey, she sees things. If she says that she sees, somebody or she's talking to somebody, please don't tell her that it's all in her head. Please
Mm.
just validate her and let her be. Let her stay connected to that. Don't disconnect her and don't tell her that she's wrong. Um, So I think just being really supportive with our kids and bringing them into our little rituals is real. Like my kids, we do a new moon ritual and a full moon ritual, and the kids love it. They love it. You know, on the new moon, we write, well, I write my intentions for the moon, and they draw their intentions of what they want to call in. And then on the full moon, we draw what we want to, you know, get rid of, and then we burn it in a fire, and the kids love it. But you know, I have my pendulum with them. They have their own little crystals. It's just about tuning into exactly what your kids feel called to and not forcing them to. Like if they don't want to do something, they won't do it. So
Yeah.
but if you're doing it, they'll just come and join you. Like every day I'm grounding with my cacao outside if it's not too cold. And my little girl will just come and join me, and she'll close her eyes, and, you know, she'll point out the birds. And it's a beautiful way to connect. And I think since diving into this side of myself, it's given my kids permission to dive deeper into their stuff as well. Like since I've dived into it, my son always been really into like ghosts. Like for his birthday this year, he wanted to go do a ghost tour. There's like this really haunted, um, there's this really haunted convict prison
Oh.
in where near where I live, and he wanted to do a ghost tour. He was turning 6, and he loves it. And he got this ghost book about ghost stories, and he loves it. And now he started connecting and saying he has this little you know, he's got somebody with him called the unknown, and he asks his little unknown questions. And I think that's also really another important thing to point out is that if your kids, or if you had an imaginary friend as a kid, or if your kids have imaginary friend, that is most likely their spirit guide connecting to them in the way that is what kids want. They'll they'll like, I think I had an imaginary friend, and she was a panda with little pink bows and her little ears. And I talked to her all the time. And now I know that that was my spirit guide connecting with me during my childhood.
So you had said that when you were on the astral hangout, that is when you reconnected with your spirit guide. Can you because this is something I'm about to do a past life regression, and this is something I'm very interested in because I don't know, I think it's blurred so you can't really see it, but my grandparents' picture is back
Oh,
here
yeah.
behind me.
Yeah.
And so I've always felt my paternal or my I'm sorry, my maternal grandfather committed suicide right before I was born. And then my maternal
Oh, no.
grandmother, who I felt very, very connected to as a child, she died suddenly when I was 16 of a massive stroke. And it was very, very traumatizing to me. But I've always felt like she has been kind of like a guide for me. So I keep her picture.
Oh,
I keep their picture back there, and I've always just
beautiful.
just felt very connected to her spirit. But as far as like a spirit guide, this is something that I've been very interested in, but I'm not exactly sure how you like open up to that. So could you tell me?
Yeah.
I just wanted to pause for one quick second during this conversation to let you know that Kerryn has an offering called Meet Your Spirit Guides. So, this is for intuitive mothers to unleash their psychic abilities. And you can go right now over to motherpriestess.com/spirit guides to sign up for this event. And don't forget to tell them that you heard it on the Ecstatic Life podcast. Now back to the show.
That was actually my first dive into all things psychic, was doing this thing called an astral hangout, which was I saw it and I'm like, what the hell is that? I don't know. Like, how am I I don't know how to travel astrally. That's surely I can't do that. And she's now my business partner, which is crazy. She was like, no, like, you've got this, it's fine. Like, it doesn't matter. You're a beginner. It's okay. And so we did this little ceremony. And so just to start off with, you don't just have one spirit guide, you have 4.
Mm.
So you have your main guide, which is normally, he normally stands on your right. And he's normally like the opposite sex to whatever you are. So I have him on the right, and then you have on your left, you have your gatekeeper, and he protects you, keeps you safe. You have your guardian angel above you, and they, obviously keep watch over you, and they only interfere if it's like a life or death situation. And then at your feet, you have your spirit animal, which gives you your characteristics, your traits. And so I was so excited to go in and do this. I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. This is crazy. And I did it. And the first meeting your main guide, because your main guide is somebody that has been human before. So they understand the human experience. And they're like your sat nav. So they're there to help you. They won't force themselves in, but they're there if you need them. It's like if you're driving along a road and you don't know your way and there's a sat nav right next to you and you choose not to do it and you're just winging it. That's what most people were doing. But coming back and meeting your spirit guide means you're tuning into that sat nav. You'll be able to get to wherever you're meant to get to far quicker than if you just try to wing it by yourself. And I remember meeting him, and the whole ceremony was, give them a big hug. And I started crying because it was just, I felt so alone my whole life. I've had this core loneliness. I'm an only child. So I've always felt really alone apart from my animals. And to just know that this guide was there the whole time, he's been there my whole life. It was just like a coming home. It was like a coming home to myself. And knowing that I have this whole team behind me that I can just call on whenever I need. And they're there, they're there. And it really was this massive realization that everything I've always needed, any support, any wisdom, any guidance, they've been there that whole time waiting for me to ask them. And I came out of that. I did it at night, and the next day, it was like I was walking around high all day, and I saw, no joke, about 10 rainbows. It was like they were like celebrating that I had finally connected to them and woken up to them. And they just sent me so much amazing signs on this one day, and I was just floating. Yeah, it was such a beautiful experience.
So was the
So yeah, that was
actual
really the start of it.
ceremony, was the actual ceremony like guided meditation, or was it like how
Yeah. So it was like it was like a guided meditation. So we, learned about it, and then about all of our guides and who we were going to meet. And then we grounded, which is really the foundation of any psychic practice, is ensuring that you're grounded and protected as well before you go in, because you need to keep yourself safe energetically. There's so much that can happen, but you're very safe in this.
you had spoken about boundaries and spiritual hygiene in our intake. What was is that part of that? Is that what you're speaking of?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So I think a lot of us mums, especially, we are so open. We are feeling everything. We are holding everybody, and we wonder why we're exhausted, because we're not just holding our own energy, we're holding everybody else's, and
Yes.
wondering why we're getting burnt out. But when we ground and we protect ourselves, it's not just about, and when I say grounding, right, I'm not talking about walking barefoot on the ground outside, which is a beautiful practice in itself. And it is something that you can do when you're doing energetic grounding. But this is more about, energetically grounding is, you can do it wherever. Like it's not just something that you need to be outside for. You can do it when you wake up in the morning. You can do it. I've done it when I'm in an airplane flying somebody somewhere. You can do it any time
When you're
during
not
the day.
grounded at all.
I'm not grounded at all. My roots were flapping in the wind.
Yeah.
They went down to the ground. But yeah, grounding is grounding in our energy. And when we protect ourselves, we're putting like a barrier around us. So we're like holding our energy and keeping it for ourselves. We're not leaking it out, and we have boundaries in place so people can't come in onto our boundaries. Especially, especially when you dive into human design, you see how everybody's auras work differently. So, projectors, we take on everyone's energy. So grounding and protecting is, like you don't just have to do it if you're a psychic, if you're doing psychic stuff. It's something I do every day as a parent. Every morning I get up and I do. It's like one of the first things I do is I make my cacao and I go and sit outside because it's not too cold yet. But I can do it inside if my kids are freaking out and don't want me to go outside. But yeah, it's one of those things that it's really, really simple and it's really quick. It doesn't take long, and it's something you can work into your routine, and it really sets you up to be able to move through the day where you're not taking on so much. Yeah, so that's really important.
What do you do as your morning grounding practice? Because I know for me, like what really helps me is if I can get up first thing and do my breath work, and I have a sauna, and I absolutely love to do the breath work in the sauna. And if I can get like 30 minutes in there, like the rest of the day, I'm like solid. And if I miss it, then it's like so much easier to feel like that leaky energy. But like for me, that morning breath work in the sauna, and then just I don't know, it's like sets me up to have just such a great day where everything just seems to go smoothly and roll the way I want it to.
That's amazing. Yeah, that sounds awesome. I think I especially believe that the first hour of your day, it sets you up. If you wake up in the morning and you get on your phone straight away and you're scrolling, and then you're not setting yourself up. You're setting yourself up to be behind, and you're setting yourself up to be stressed. So I leave my phone away for the first hour. It's on focus, so I can't get any vibrating things through. I can't even, if I look at it, it doesn't show any notifications on it. And I use that first hour and that doesn't mean that I'm doing an hour's worth of practice, right? I don't want people to think that you have to have an hour as a mother every day to be doing stuff. It's literally, if I have to do just one thing, if I've only got time for one thing, it'll be grounding. 100%. That is my thing. It takes, you can take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, however long you can get. It really, truly does set me up for the day. And that's, then I have my yoga and my meditation and breath work and stuff in there as well. That's a nice extra bonus. But if I can just ground for the day, like I'm good.
Yeah.
I am so good.
Well, so
especially looking at the sun on my face.
Yes, that is something. And I haven't today, so I haven't gone outside.
You haven't yet after this.
No, but normally, and actually literally stepping on the earth, putting my feet on the earth and looking into the sun every morning. That's normally part of my ritual, but this morning had to get on here first thing, so it didn't happen. And I think so you're going into, no, it's okay, I will after this, but you're going into your winter and we're coming into our summer here. So that's so funny. Yeah. So
I just put all my layers on.
I just put all my stuff in the closet. I'm like, all right, it's bathing suit time.
Oh, stop it. Don't rub it in. I am not a winter person. I'm a summer girl.
I'm not either. Yeah. If I move, we went down to El Salvador about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and looked at property there. And so if we move, we're moving closer to the equator. more tropical even than Florida. So
you're speaking my language.
Yes. Yeah. I would love to start a big retreat center. So that's my big audacious dream, is to start a big retreat center, permaculture community on the beach, in the mountains, and on the beach in El Salvador. So that's my audacious dream. So you can come join us
lock me in for a night. Yeah. That sounds so good.
I did I wanted to go back, but you were just saying, you were talking about your grounding practice. So you started a collective now, right? So it's called the Mother Priestess.
Yeah.
And you guys have being on a course on grounding. So maybe we can move into that. Like, what is the Mother Priestess? What do you guys share? What are your offerings?
Yeah, so it all started from this one psychic that took me through the astral hangout. Um, it was just a crazy amount of alignment that had to come up for us to cross paths. And yeah, there was another girl that did the astral hangout with me, and we just ended up tuning in and realizing, hey, like let's go into business together. So we I feel like we have a very similar vision of, raising the new world, raising the new
Hmm.
consciousness, and raising, stepping into the evolution of where humanity is going, and parenting that next generation that are coming through, that are going to be these magical humans. I can just feel it in my bones.
Yes.
And so we really are just, yeah, we're just aiming to be, I mean, we have big dreams for this, a movement. It's not just a business, it's a movement. And it's all about community and connecting these amazing mothers that just know that there is so much more to their who they are and their gifts, and being able to support them with parenting this new generation and these new humans that are coming through, that are going to really carry this earth later on down the track.
Yes.
And so yeah, we'll be taking people through the things that have changed my life in the last year, uh, and I'm hoping that it will help other mums in a very similar way. There's been so many life-changing, everyone has grown in just, yeah, it's hard to put into words, to be honest, because it's just, I'm so passionate about it, and I'm so grateful that I've found these two women, and that we've truly aligned up. And it's crazy. We ended up doing past life regressions, and we've all been in past lives together, and our daughters are connected too. And um
So beautiful.
yeah, just
I'm
being able
about
to
to
have,
record a
yeah.
podcast with a friend of mine who Shelby, she guests with me a lot, and we reconnected. We went to high school together, and then we reconnected just like a year or so ago through podcasting, and
Love
it's
that.
been really amazing. But what's really on my heart lately is sisterhood, you know? And so
Yes.
I've loved to connect like with you and with other like sisters from around the world. It's so amazing that I feel like we have had that sisterhood stolen from us with a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
feminist revolution and going into the workforce and trying to be more masculine, you know, in the competition mode. And so women were really like pitted against each
Yes.
other for a lot of years. And there was this really big sister wound. And I feel like right now, so many of us are
100.
working to
Yes.
heal that. And we're coming back to our roots,
Mm-hmm.
coming back to community. And that's what women need, right? We need to
Yes.
be in community.
Yeah.
We weren't designed to be this like one woman show, doing it all, working and
No.
raising our kids by ourselves. And like, you know, like we were supposed to be in community. It was supposed to be like everybody's auntie. They're
Yes.
helping raise them and we're all together cooking together. And, you know, like that is
Yes.
how women are supposed to live. And
100%.
yeah, so getting back to that, like that's like, yeah, like I said, my big audacious dream. I would love to have communal land and like so many sisters there working together. And so to see that, to see like you coming together with your mother priestess sisters and like to feel this like reconnection has just been it's really divine. Like I know it's healed me so much.
Yeah. Oh, I've like, even just 2 weeks ago, I healed this massive sister wound. It just spontaneously came up to be healed. And I just thought that was something I was going to be carrying for the rest of my life. But through meeting these women, it has been so healing to be able to have these deep conversations, spiritual conversations. I'm so over small talk. I can't do small talk no more. I don't have
Yeah.
time for small talk. I love diving deep. And I love that we're in this world right now where technology can connect us. Like, I'm talking to you and you're in America. Both of my business partners are in, they're in Australia, but they're in different states. Um, and it doesn't break the bond. The
Mm.
sisterhood is so strong. And I've just never had, it's just been really lovely to walk and be friends with, and to work with people that inspire me and motivate me so much, and they validate me. I think the biggest thing for me was learning to trust myself And whenever I would share something and be like, oh, I don't know what I'm receiving. I don't know if this is right. And they'd be like, is that what you got? I'd be like, yeah. They're like, okay, well, that's what you got. Trust yourself. I think that was the biggest thing. And I think, yeah, I did a meditation last year, and it was like, trust your imagination. And just, it was so liberating to just, wow, just trust what I'm receiving. Just, it's so simple. It sounds so simple, but it was
It's
such a
so
big
hard
life-changing
though.
moment for me to start trusting myself again. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I
Yeah.
struggle
Because
with,
you've, yeah, just
Yeah.
trust what you're getting, and trust if you feel off about something, like that's definitely, you're probably right. Like you're
Yeah.
more than likely right, especially when it comes, like, there's mother's instinct. This is just taking mother's instinct to a whole nother level, I think. And I feel like, especially with like getting into yoga and breath work, especially, I found myself hyper fixating on all of the traumas and all of the heaviness and all of the, stuff from that I've, having to heal everything, and getting just connected to my psychic gifts and doing the astral hangout and grounding. And it's just really been so, just a joyful practice. Like, it's just so light, and it's just letting go of the all of the heavy stuff. And I feel like, I mean, so many of us, especially women that we are hoping will join us in this mission, is the, they're the women that have done so much work on themselves. They know all of their triggers, they know all of their traumas, they know their sister wound, their mother wound, their father wounds, masculine, feminine wounds. They know it all. They know what their ancestral wounds are coming through, and they're being the circuit breakers. And it just gets to a point where that's all we're talking about, versus
Mm.
just being joyful and enjoying the moment. And I think that's really what I've been gifted, is I can just go outside and I'll look up and I'll be like, oh, look at those birds. Like, oh, the sun on my face, the wind in my hair, the dirt under my toes. It's just something so simple but beautiful about returning to that. And I just want that for every mother, because we carry so much and we're doing so much. We're so aware of parenting our kids and not traumatizing them. And we're gentle parenting, we're intuitive parenting, we're doing all of the right things, and we're so hard on ourselves. We have so much guilt, we carry so much because we know so much. And so getting back and connecting to this part of myself has just felt really freeing. And
Mm.
I want that for every woman, the ones that are doing all of this work, because we all deserve to just have a break and just experience joy. And I have found that through just letting go of needing to fix anything or to heal myself, so much more healing has happened just inadvertently from me just accepting myself and trusting myself, has healed so much more than I have in specifically setting intentions when I go into breath work, or moving somatically through my body and feeling where the I'm holding tension. um there's something so liberating about that. It's, yeah, I want that for everybody, to be honest.
Yeah.
And we have really big goals for this. Like, similar to you, we would love, like, our dream is to have our own town, and it's just full of these amazing mystical women. And, we're just these, like, I don't think, I'm not stepping into my prime until my 40s, 50s. Like, I'm going to be, that's my golden years right there. And, I can just see us being these mystical women, and you've got all the grandkids around you and everybody else's grandkids around you, and everyone's learning and growing together. And that's what life's about, like, growing together. We're not, and no one is higher, no one is lower. We're all just growing together.
Yeah.
And I feel like that comes back to unschooling as well. Like, unschooling is, I mean, I learn as much as my kids do every day, versus sending them to somebody else
Hmm.
who thinks they know better than my kids. um, to grow with our kids on, that level, but then to psychically, and to let our kids help us to reconnect to that part of us, it's just magical. It's really magical.
Yeah. And for us to reconnect, like you said back in the beginning of the conversation, the inner child, to get back in touch with that part of ourself, that true nature, you know? To have
Yeah.
that childlike wonder, to have that open curiosity. And yeah, I think it's an arc. You know, I see that a lot. I think it's an arc, especially for women who have had a lot of, trauma and things like that. We have to go through that arc, that dark night of the soul, that shadow work. We go through that. And then
Yeah.
I'm finding the same as you on the other side of that. It's like freeing to just let that go. It doesn't have to be all that work anymore, and to step into a more joyous and liberated way of being, and to have that curiosity about life again. And yeah, I 100% am in alignment with that. Like, I want to be able, like, that is my mission, right? Ecstatic life. That is my life's mission. I want to be able to share that with other women too.
Yes.
Yes, and bring the joy back to motherhood. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
For
Wow. All right.
sure. Bring the
Well, so
lightness back. Yeah.
we are at an hour, and that is like such a good wrap up. So, can you tell everybody like anything else you want to say, and any offerings you want to talk about, how to get in touch with you, maybe your website or anything like that?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at of ground and earth, and you can find Mother Priestess at mother.priestess. We're still working on our website, but might be up by the time this episode goes live. But if you join us on Instagram, that's where all of our offerings will be coming up and available. And we'd love to have everybody on board because, yeah, I'm really excited for the future. And yeah, getting the sisterhood back together. And it's the new age sisterhood of you don't have to be in the one spot. We're all over the world, and now it will be a good excuse to travel around the world visiting each other.
Yeah.
Um, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, like I can
it's
see,
yeah.
I can like feel it. I can picture it. I can see hubs in all corners of the world. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited for the new earth, for the new beginning. So, yeah. This has been an awesome conversation. It's
Yeah.
so nice to connect to you. I'm so glad that we made this happen through all the time zones differences and everything. Uh, and yeah,
Time doesn't exist.
yeah, that's right. And and I'm excited also to learn more from you about tapping into my psychic parenting and my psychic abilities, because this is something that's definitely like been on my heart. And so yeah, I'm very curious to take a deep,
Yeah.
and maybe we can have another part two later, and go deeper into it. So thank you so much, Karen. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Oh, I'll definitely be back.
Yay!